Hey everybody, let's go ahead and get started for our last stream of the week. I hope you're all having a great Friday so far. We're definitely ready for the weekend. Had a pretty good week, but just feeling a bit tired, so yeah, ready for a little bit of free time. But let's go ahead and start. Actually, I won't really be programming much today. I'm going to be mostly doing some 3D modeling because I want to create our actual first monster. Let's go ahead and switch. So far, we've just used these boring little capsule models for our monsters, and I want to add something a little better because I figure it'll be easier to figure out the way we want the terrain to look if we have a character. And so I'm gonna just make a simple character, and then that'll help us figure out this art style, and we can go from there. So let's do the to-do. Oh, I actually did do this, by the way. Last night I wanted to figure out how to do it real quick. And I made a 2-channel distort image. You can see here. So it's just 2 different clouds, and one is in the green channel and one is in the red channel. And how you can do that in GIMP is you just import a bunch of images and then go to Image, Mode, Grayscale, and then Colors, Components, Compose, and then you can create one image using each layer as a certain red, green, blue channel. And then you just export, so it's pretty simple. But yeah, so I can mark that off. So this is all stuff we need to do. Be a bunch of terrain stuff. I'm trying to figure out. Like that. Could also make a tag, but we'll just kind of do this as needed. Okay, so this is actually like a design issue. So I'll need to do that before we start doing more abilities, I think. Where the rest of them are more like just like graphical. So I can move these down to the to-do or reminders. Oops. Did not want to do that. Did that yesterday too. Turn this down a bit so it doesn't drown out my voice. Okay, so we are going to start working on a character. So first I want to do a... Oh, another big just cut off all the way. I want to do some kind of like 2D concept. And I'm going to have to do it in vector because my tablet is broken, and we all know that I can't draw with a mouse from my old diagrams from a couple weeks ago. So actually I'm pretty good at doing vector art, so I think that will be okay. And then of course we'll make the model. And then we'll need to give it colors or texture it. And then we'll need to rig the model, which basically means is get it ready for animation, which I've never done before, so that should be fun. And then we'll import it to the game. Well, actually, they probably import before we rig it. We'll do it probably at each step just to see how it looks in the engine. Sorry if you can hear my dog. She's I guess probably playing with somebody. And yeah, so then we'll need to figure out how we want to do the animation system. I've got to... Well, Unity has systems that make it pretty easy, but I've got to make sure it's still moddable. So we'll figure that out. This is animation. Once we've done with all this stuff, I guess I'll just change this to, I don't know, current project. What we're doing right now. Okay, so like I said, well, I'm gonna try and draw it in this in Inkscape, which is just a vector art tool. And my idea is like, I wanted to do something relatively simple since this will be the first model I've done in a couple years and the first model I've made in Blender. So I'm thinking that it'll just be a dinosaur egg, and then but it'll have like a hole in the front where you can see its nose. I thought that will also be kind of cute and thematic, and I hope an egg won't be too difficult to draw because it's going to be I mean, not too difficult to draw, too difficult to model because it'll mostly be an oval. I'm going to do the front first. So I'll just have this oval. And if I turn it into a path, then we have more control over its shape. So probably we want the top to be a little less rounded. Like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, there we go, the egg shape. And now we'll want kind of crack. Or let's actually make the nose first. I don't know about the colors. You can always come back and change them pretty easily. So the snout will basically be ovals again. Actually, probably a rounded rectangle will be an easier way to model this. Change this to green. Okay, let's change this to a path, and now we can modify the nodes visually. And it needs to have some big nostrils on it, I think. That one's sniffing. Let's make this a different color just so we can see it for now. Something like that. And then we'll need to have another thing for the lower jaw. Maybe this should be flipped around. That's not too bad. And I don't know, some kind of teeth here. Kind of thinking it'll channel T-Rex a bit. Okay, gotta change the sorting here. There we go. Something like that, I think I'll do the trick. Alright, it's kind of hard to see. Let's change. Well, these need to be white, don't they? That's okay. Maybe I'll change the color of the egg later. So I'm going to go ahead and save this just so we don't lose it. Where would I put this? I guess it would go in planning, kind of, but... Oh yeah, I guess that'll be fine for now. Okay, so I'll just change this, I don't know, to egg dino concept. Okay, so one thing I definitely want is that you won't actually be able to see the eyes of this dinosaur, just as note. So it should have... I'm not sure exactly how this part will look, but it needs to have like egg cracks around it. Something like that, although, yeah, this right now it doesn't look too good. I don't think it should be completely symmetric, but it needs to follow the knot pretty well. The cracks are pretty angular. I think that looks fine. Okay, so obviously now, oops, duplicate, and we'll have a darker color. That. Alright, it's starting to look pretty good. Alright, so a couple other things is I think it's going to have this like funny looking feather or something that sticks at the top just to give it some more design. Or features, I should say. Trying to press page down, but it's not actually doing anything. I think it's because I'm in the wrong mode. There we go. Actually kind of looks like the tail. Maybe if I made a different color it wouldn't, because I was visioning it coming out of the top of its head, but I don't know, the tail might be a cute idea as well. Maybe it's because it's too tall. And then of course I need some kind of feet, I think. So I'm gonna just try to envision how its actual body structure would be. Just so we can have some kind of plausible proportions. Change this color so I can actually see what's going on. And it has eyes. Actually, probably its head would be more like that. So maybe we need to move this whole thing upwards a bit, or shrink the egg. I think that looks fine. Okay, so let me let's move these to the side, I guess. Now we want to add feet down here. This back. Do I want to give it legs, or do I just want it to have feet that come off the body like a Goomba? Let's try both, I guess. So object path, so that way I can edit these a bit. Something. Well, it wouldn't be pointing like that, it'd be more like a circle because it's pointing outwards. I don't know, something about that doesn't look right. Maybe it should be behind the shell. That. Okay, so yeah, it would have to, I think we need to give him little legs. So the feet are more out like this. Like that. Let music back up a bit. Yeah, I think that definitely is starting to look a little better. I can't really see it much, but yeah, that definitely makes the feet look better. Also, they're the wrong color, but not worrying too much about color at this point in time. No, something about the feet still don't look right. Maybe it's just because they're too simple. So if we look at dinosaur feet, oh yeah, dinosaur feet are more like birds. But I don't really want it to be super realistic. Let's see T-Rex legs. Yeah, so they kind of stand up on their toes. I feel like the problem might just be because these are so simple. Or maybe this is too tall. Do that. A little better. I don't really need to spend so long on this because it's just a concept art piece, but yeah, I think that does look better. Okay, so now let's just duplicate our first little group. Down, duplicate, and we'll flip it around. Bottom. Something like that. Looks like it has duck feet right now, but okay, so I guess last thing we want to do is if I want to add any other type of, I guess we should decide on the color. I don't think I'll worry about shading it too much, but I should decide if we want any more details on it. Like if I want spots on the egg. Some kind of spots might be nice. Even like, I don't know, do a star. Realistically, it'll probably be hexagons, but kind of looks nice actually. Add a couple, and now I'll just mask them. Okay, and then I can bring up the whole nose thing above it. It looks pretty good actually. Okay. Maybe we'll want to add like a crack in the egg at some other spot. Darker version of the egg color. Yeah, so that looks pretty good, and I guess we could add another crack somewhere else. I guess would there be like a little hole around here? Probably the thing that's not sticking up straight out of the top, maybe a little behind. Let's remove the mask real quick. Oh, doesn't want to. Oh, because I said as a clip. And if I just add these cracks to it, makes things easier. Yeah, I thought that was a double egg. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this. So now we got to do the profile and back. Start with this. So that's not really going to be much help because we're going to need to redraw most of this. Okay, so let's start with the nose. Don't want it to stick out too far because like his head is like right here. Like that. And then from this side, the nostrils will actually be little rectangles. Trying to match the heights up. Not to be perfect, but I'll just stick out a little bit farther off the nose, I think. Because if I'm going to go through the trouble of matching nostrils, I should do the same with the actual nose. And let's copy this. And so it'll probably stick out a little bit from the back. And from this side, it won't have such a pronounced swish, but I guess they'll probably move forward. Not to match up perfectly, I'm not sure. Not that imperative. And now we gotta do the legs. Another rounded rectangle. Try and match the heights since I had trouble with that last time. Oh, it's almost exactly correct. This should be pretty much right under the center of mass. Right, and then the toenails, or I guess claws, like this. Don't want to be too long. Okay, and looking at the T-Rex. So the legs like go backwards from it. I guess just like ostriches or some kind of bird like that. So I guess if that's the case, then the feet would actually be a little in front, and then the legs would come off of it, move to the body. Although obviously on a T-Rex, the T-Rex is like slipped forward, so our little dinosaur is standing more upright, so it'd be slightly different. And of course, we're not trying to make a anatomically our biologically plausible animal here, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Get this leg color. To be able to see the one kind of in front of it like that. Smooth this corner out a little bit. Oh, this looks weird. That looks much better, I think. But maybe the leg should just extend back a little more. I guess from this angle also, the leg is a bit... Oh, come on. What? The leg should move, or should be a bit in front of the egg, and then we'll have the actual crack. So you can't see where the legs come out in the front. So I guess that means the leg enters a bit behind the middle point. Something like that, and then I will need to have a crack feature there. And I guess there should be like one hole for each leg instead of them both coming out of the same one. Like that. It just looks strange if I try to make it float backwards like that. Let's bring body back. Okay, well that's fine for that side, but yeah, from this side the body should be probably wider. We'd have the head up here. Something like that. This doesn't really matter a whole lot because we'll never actually see these parts, but it's good to get at least an idea of how everything would fit together so that you make something that looks possible. I'm gonna grab this handle there. Alright, so I should just put this on a different layer. Make a new layer. This will just be, I don't know, body, and this will just be the main layer. I cut this. Select both. Cut. paste onto the body layer. Oops, didn't paste in place. Okay, well that's kind of annoying, but just readjust it. And I'll do the same thing with these. They're not centered, but that's okay. Alright, so now we've got that. And so if I want to toggle these on and off, I can just do something like this. I think I'm happy with it for now. I have a feeling that where these legs enter to the egg is going to be a problem area, but realistically these should be a lot bigger though because of the feet. Yeah, you might actually be able to see a bit of the hole from the front when we do the actual model, but I'll see about if I want to bother adding it. Now we definitely gotta add the hole around here. Okay, something like that. I'll need to add a clipping mask later, but I guess I can go ahead and do it now because this egg's not going to change. Yeah, so the way that there's something about this looks wrong. I guess you should be able to see the snout descend into it, or at least it would fade, and I don't know, there's not really a great way to do that in Inkscape without doing a gradient. That's also probably what makes this little area look weird, but I'm not gonna worry about that for now. Let's make this into a path. I think the shape might be another reason that it looks a little strange. The bottom should move inward. And then here, I guess I'll just move these 2 points. Oh. I just want to move them, but I don't think it's going to let me do both at the same time because of the way that the... Okay, there we go. But well, it should stay on the line. Something like that. So this little area is just going to look weird on this model, or drawing, because I don't want to bother with shading. And then here, I also need to have a little shear color, or not color, shear transformation, so I'll change this again to a path and bring these points forward. If you want to make a small adjustment, it's easier to move them far away, and then, because then Inkscape will let you do a more fine adjustment while staying on the same line. Edit these a bit. And so from here you wouldn't really be able to see the nose or the nostril hole, I don't think. Make them a different color so I can get a little better. Did they move? Probably should be wider. Also, I'm noticing that the snout, oh, it does it here too. I think it just looks better if it's above the crack. Down. I don't think so. I think it's fine flat. Oh yeah, and I need to do the lower jaw now. Testing the height. This would also go all the way back. Need to edit the crack a bit. Something like that. Did I make an oval instead of a rectangle? Oh no, is it since it's so thin, the rounding went a little overboard. I think I can change it. No. Well, I can just edit it myself. Don't know why it did that corner, but okay, I think I needed that point. Maybe it should be the other way. Has a bit of a chin. I guess the other thing is that should it move outward from the egg more? Because if it's like this, it's totally concealed within the egg. I think one problem might be that the nose in general is too far inward. I don't want to get that. And that way I can also shrink this a little bit. Try and make it match here more. This I mean, from the front it takes up about 2/3 of the egg, which I think would, eyeballing it, seems like it would make it end around at this area. I can get rid of some of these points, I think. Okay, I don't know, something about this still is looking a bit weird, but I think it just might be this line. Maybe I can make this myself. Have something like this, and then gradient. Except from oh, I gotta go to the gradient tool, I think. What? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I want it to be black to kind of give the illusion of it fading a bit. Still got some green in it. This color, I will want it to, I guess, also be black, but then no alpha, so that way it won't fade any of the green. So, I mean, that looks better, I think. Kind of a hacky way to do it, but gets the job done. I'll just add another point there. Yeah, so that looks better, I think. But still something about this lower jaw not right. Maybe I'll be able to get it together when I make the thing. Come pretty close to the front. Okay, so it needs to be in front of the lower jaw but behind the upper jaw. That was another weird thing. I think the lower jaw was on top of the upper one. So we might even, like from the side, we probably won't even see that. I think we would a little bit. Yeah, it needs to move back. I think I had it right the first time where the lower part is more inward. Yeah, that looks better. What about this nostril? I think it looks a little strange right now just because it's the same color. I mean, it's a different color and not shaded. Okay, so yeah, we've got to, obviously we have the spike, or the hexagons and the cracks, but they're not really super needed for the design. So I'll just save a little time, leave them off. So now we just gotta do the back, which will be pretty easy because we won't even see the nose, obviously. I guess one thing is we could have one other crack for the tail, but I kind of like it without the tail. I mean, there's always the option that I could have a really long tail, and this is the tail up here. Oh, which, speaking about that, we need to do the crack for this. I mean, that could be kind of cute. At first I was thinking it was like a feather or something on the top of its head, but I guess a tail would make more sense. Messed it up a bit, so we've got to get higher. Simple, and then I'll duplicate the egg and the clip. I guess another weird thing from this angle is that you'd actually see through the egg at this part instead of seeing blackness. Especially right here. You would see blackness here because it doesn't go all the way through. Well, it does kind of actually. But that's going to be kind of difficult to do. I'm not sure if I'll worry about it right now. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so I think this will be its tail, and I guess could also make this a little more smooth. Oh, that's good enough. Right, yeah, so now we'll get back to the back. So really, you just see the feet and then the hole for the tail, which comes out around here. Pretty simple. In fact, you can really just copy. And then obviously we need to switch or flip them around to it. Grouped. There we go. I need to delete the claws because you can't see them from the back, obviously. And the dark part of the leg would come in front. I guess this is the thing we need to figure out where it attaches. So it's pretty close to the top of the foot. I'm not going to do the actual T-Rex thing where they have bird feet that kind of move off the back of the foot. Also, they don't move up. I think that it really have the same shape as the front here. I mean, if it was, it'd be shaded different, obviously. Cracks around here. Like that. We go all the way through to the front. Something doesn't look right, but it might just be because this leg is a little wonky. And mirror that and then try and get it. I don't know. Trying to think about what I don't like about it. I guess on the front you couldn't see this part, so maybe that's the part that's strange. Doesn't seem to curve in as much. Right, so let's mirror that around and see how it looks. Yeah, I think that's definitely better. Okay, so now let's do this. And it really just be the same shape except mirrored, and then I need to extend it down. Like that. Not to move it down, I just need to extend it downwards. I'll add those two nodes to kind of keep track of where it was, and then just drag these down. Strange, isn't it? That's more like what I had in mind. Track is a lot bigger than the one on the profile. Also lower down. I guess I just need to decide which position I like better. Good right there, I think. That's close enough, actually. Alright, so is there anything else? I mean, obviously here there'd be spots and cracks, but it'll just be busy work and it doesn't actually impact the design too much. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Legs here are a little strange, but I think it might just be the same issue that there's no gradient, so they just kind of get cut off into the abyss. Alright, so are we ready to start in Blender? I think so. Okay, so as I said in the introduction to the stream, it's been a couple years since I've really worked with 3D modeling, and I've actually never used Blender seriously, so I'm going to take this opportunity to teach myself how to use it as well, so I do apologize if I do something, what's the word, newbie-ish, or I have to go and look up how to do something, because I just don't know. I taught myself how to 3D model, or I didn't teach myself, I took classes with Maya, but it's extremely expensive, so, and Blender is really pretty much as good, so I couldn't justify shelling out for Maya just for that reason, but I'll be able to myself it, I think. So I guess what we'll want to start with some kind of circle. Actually, not a circle, a sphere. And we'll want a UV sphere. Okay, well let me just create one of each. That way we can see what the difference is. So, I'm going to rotate. And I actually think that in general the icosphere looks better, but UV sphere will be much easier to model with just because everything is a square. And in general, it's much easier to work with squares than triangles in these 3D programs. And you might be wondering, well, didn't we design everything with triangles when we were doing the terrain mesh in Unity? And that's true, but Unity basically just takes each of these squares and cuts it into 2 triangles, and that's how that works. Right, so let's actually we'll delete both of these. Okay, so I want to create a sphere and bit like 8. I think that I think 8 will be a good place to start. We can always add more. Okay, so let's name this egg. Alright, I'm also going to try and teach myself keybinds. Okay, so you press tab to go from object mode to edit mode. And one very important thing whenever you're going to import this into Unity is you always want the object positions to set 0, 0, 0, which I'm going to find. Where that would actually be. Here, okay, yeah. So we want location 0, 0, 0, rotation 0, 0, 0, and scale 1, 1, 1. And then if you ever want to change any of these values, then you'd actually go into edit mode, and then you can work on a vertex level. And that's just because changing the location of the object as opposed to the vertex does some weird things in Unity that probably you won't want to happen. Like every mesh would have like a built-in position, and that's usually not ideal because you'll just set the position yourself when you do when you spawn it. So one thing I've learned early on. Alright. So again, we don't want to work with triangles, so I'm going to try and delete this and then rebuild the top of the circle using squares. We want to select faces. You're not going to tell me the key bind? There's got to be some keybind for it. But anyway, so I'm going to do that and select all these. Press delete. Faces. I mean, keep on right clicking to rotate. I think that's how it is in Unity or something. Maybe that's how it was in Maya, I don't remember. But yeah, I think right click was rotate in Maya and middle click was pan, but in this, middle click is rotate, right click is to translate. How do you pan? Okay, it's shift, middle click. Okay, so now I need to create some geometry here, which I think I can go to tools and make edge face is F. So let's try that. That did not work. Oh, maybe I need to select all the edges and then I press F and it will make a face in between all these edges. I bet that's how it works. Okay, good. Now I want to the knife create more edges. Enter. K again for the knife. If it goes through like that, it should create vertex in the middle. Okay, so now this just brings a square top to the circle and it just looks a little better, I think. Now I select this vertex and bring it up a bit. If I ever want to make these triangles again, I can easily do so. Okay, so now I want to do the same thing below. In fact, I can maybe duplicate. Alright, so how do you get to the, I think it's num key. Okay, let's rotate. I'm going to do the orthogonal view. I'm a little disappointed that some of these things don't tell you the keybinds. Gotta be some way to switch between those, I know. I guess before I go farther, I should actually save this. So let's go. Here, Unity, assets. Oops, I want to do mod assets, and let's make a new models. And it's usually good to make a special folder for each model. And so I'll just call this egg Dino. Alright, I guess now we might as well see that it actually loads in Unity. That's this running the whole time. Not that it really matters. Egg Dino. It rotated strangely, but I think when we bring it out into the world, it will right itself. Yeah, so we don't have any animations and materials yet. That's fine. It looks okay. Normals. We'll just import. Yeah, usually when you import a mesh, it's yeah, we can see that changed all those squares into triangles, and that is a little weird actually. That doesn't look good. Maybe I should have kept it triangles like down here. I think that will make it difficult to work with in the engine, but it doesn't look good in Unity. I'm glad I did test that. But what I was going to say is usually when you import a model into Unity, it does like the normal smoothing so you don't get crisp edges. Which is normally what you'd want, but we actually want crisp edges for this art style, so... Now I guess I'll... Again, I right-clicked. I'll just undo all that work I just did, but that's fine, it was still a good learning experience. Go, so I want to deselect... A to deselect all. Okay, so I guess I'll select, I kind of want to select all actually. Let's vertices. Okay, I'll just do boundary select. Doesn't get ones you don't see, which is kind of annoying. and the reason I did that is because I want to deform the mesh a bit to make it more egg-shaped instead of ball-shaped. Which I was going to just scale everything up, but maybe I actually should work on a per vertex level. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Alright, okay, so let's actually do it differently. I want to select an edge loop. It's not going to tell me the queue bind for that. Okay, I think I do need to know that. Blender, select edge loop queue bind. Alt right mouse button or Control E. I like it being a mouse button actually. So Alt right mouse. Okay, so that should select the whole ring. And then what we want to do is, this needs to be shorter up here so we can scale, shortcut for scaling. I can't read it. Okay. Control space bar. Manipulator. Why doesn't it always show the shortcut? Scale. Shortcut. I want to learn the shortcuts because that thing's much easier. Okay. G, R, and S. Okay, I don't know. Make much sense, but I'll go with it. S. Really? Yeah, so it's still in translate mode, which I don't want. I want it scale mode, and I'm tapping the S key. Oh. Okay, well. There it goes. Oh. It went outwards right before I finished, so Alt right click, and S, scale, and left click to finish. Alt right click, S. Okay, that's starting to look vaguely eggy. Eggy. Okay. Kind of like Alt Shift right click to select multiple loops and that up. That looks a little bit strange actually. Yeah, I don't think there's really any reason to make it taller. It's a bit wider around the bottom. I really wish how to open up the orthogonal camera. Gotta be a way to do it. guess we'll just look it up. Under orthogonal or orthographic. Change projection 3D view to orthographic, or the 5 toggles between the two. I thought so, but when I was pressing the 5 key, or the different keys, it was just rotating. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so the difference between orthographic, you can kind of tell. Perspective has like vanishing points and orthographic doesn't, and a lot of times orthographic is better when you're trying to work and for 3D modeling. One other thing I should do before we get too much farther is move the egg up, because the origin point for this monster should probably be the ground. Obviously the egg is not on the ground. Go ahead and select all the... I'm still in... Oh no, I am in vertice mode, so that's fine. That'd be a better way. Oh, a background image, that might be useful actually. To bring in some of my concept art. But I mean, the concept art's not perfect anyway, so I don't know if I want to copy it exactly. What I want to do is, yeah, I wanted to have this front camera menu entry sets 3D view to camera mode. Okay, render, don't need that. What I want to do is like move it, or have the view directly on the Z axis looking towards model. Okay, so yeah, control numpad. So numpad 1 is front. Okay, so yeah, 2 and 6 is nudge. Okay, I see. Oh, I switched it. That's what I wanted. That should be fine. I did not want to rotate. Okay, so now I'm... Oh no, that's how it is supposed to work. I was gonna say, well, now I'm tapping the mouse, the middle mouse button, and it's rotating, but that's right. I'm supposed to shift middle mouse to pan. Let's save it again. And I guess start with the snout. Well, first I'll save this into Unity. Well, I guess I just did, and let's look and see how that's going. They're looking quite eggy. Still think that this should be the widest part. Let's get the shape perfect before I go blowing or pulls into it. So A to deselect everything, and Alt right click, S to scale. Like finer grain control. Alt, right click, I have to hold it, and S. Oh, I pressed the If you right click again after doing that, it cancels it, which is kind of nice, but not what I wanted to do. Okay, and this Control S to save. Let's look at that here. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Alright, so now I want to punch a hole in here to get the face. And I'm kind of lucky because these lines, if I punch out these faces, that's going to be almost exactly what I want. First, I'll move this down a little bit. Starting to look a little too fat on the top. That's better. Okay, so I think this matches up. And now if I need to find the keybind to switch to between selection modes. Shortcut, switch mode. Now it's going to tell me. Okay, yeah, that's what I want for vertex edge face. Control tab. Okay, so that's pretty nice. And then 1, 2, or 3. So right now I want to get face. I right click these and I can just delete them. Is that right? Yeah. Save and sure everything's still okay. But yeah, so I can just see straight through it because the back faces don't have any, or the normals are pointing outwards, so Unity knows not to draw those faces. In other words, these are wound clockwise this way, and so when you look at them this way, they're counterclockwise, so Unity just doesn't even draw them. Know that from experience. Alright, so what? I think I'm just going to do the holes first. I don't know, I guess it doesn't really matter. I was gonna say I should make all the holes in it before I start doing the nose and stuff, but I don't really know how big it should be until I'm done with it. Thing is, it's just, whenever it's cracked, you want to have like an edge loop. I don't think it'd be that difficult to just create another edge loop right there if we need, or some hole in the back. Do the tail one. So I guess the tail one is just and the legs would be this one and this one. Yeah, so that's pretty good, but I don't know if I should go ahead and delete them now. I guess it doesn't make much difference. A lot of 3D modeling is kind of planning what you need to do ahead of time because it can be difficult to add edge loops if you've already destroyed some of the nice geometry. But I guess yeah, we couldn't add any vertically anyway because those aren't squares, but Oh, what would it let us? What is the... I want to insert an edge loop. Control R. Okay, so it still would let me do one there. Even though it's not a loop around the whole model. So that's nice to know. So Control D. Okay, so I think we're safe. And I guess if I had to, I can always just remake those faces by selecting those edges. So really, nothing to worry about. Okay, so now we've got the egg, and the other things I think will actually be a separate model. Yeah, because there's no reason to make it part of the egg model, I don't think. Take a look in Unity to make sure everything's okay. That looks fine. Okay, so obviously you can see through the egg, and we're gonna need to have like some back. Maybe I'll go ahead and make that. Oh well, no, because this hole will be jagged. So I was gonna say we could just like extrude backwards and then fill in this area with faces so we can't see through the behind the shell, but there's no reason to do that just yet. Oh gosh, I lost complete track of time. Oh yeah, so I guess there's no point really to start on the next part, which would be the snout, fortunately. But we did at least do the 2D concept and the egg. I was having fun doing this, so I don't know, maybe I'll want to work on it a bit before next stream, so if I do, I'll be sure to fire Twitch up. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming by and watching. I appreciate you sticking with me trying to figure out how to model, so I apologize if it was kind of slow, but it's something I've needed to do for a while, so. And I think it'll be nice to get good looking monsters. I've wanted them for months, so. But yeah, if you missed any stream and you'd like to catch up, I will upload everything to my YouTube channel. Also, to be notified when I go live, which at the latest will be next Monday at around 8:30 Eastern. Feel free to follow me here on Twitch or on Twitter. And I also have a Discord channel if you'd like to chat with me over the weekend. I'd love to have you there. To reach any of those places, just type !Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube in chat, or check out the video or channel description. I also have links there. And I guess that's it for me for tonight. And yeah, have a great weekend. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.